What's up, guys? It's me, Alan, and I'm back with another NASCAR Diecast review. Now, before I show you what this diecast is, let me just say a few things off the top. So, first of all, it's a Hunt Brothers Pizza diecast, or paint scheme. So, you're probably automatically thinking Kevin Harvick. You might think a little bit of Ryan Preece, because he, won in a Hunt Brothers Pizza truck at Nashville last year, but mostly Kevin Harvick. Speaking of course, I've reviewed a Hunt Brothers Pizza Kevin Harvick truck. Go check that out if you haven't already. But more importantly, this was a car that was ran during the NASCAR Pro Invitational iRacing series. So we got another iRacing car made. It's not Kevin Harvick, though. This is Keelan Harvick's number 62 Hunt Brothers Pizza Ford for, I guess you could say, Stewart-Haas Racing, or maybe for his dad, Kevin. I'm not sure the official affiliation there, but I would just say just for his dad, which I believe his dad also raced in the same race that he was in. I believe it was Talladega, I think. But yeah, this is just wild to me, because if you look at iRacing's rules, technically, and I saw people point this out, not to be a negative Nancy or anything, but technically, Keelan's not even old enough to be on the iRacing platform. Now, granted, I would assume this was because this is the iRacing series put together by NASCAR, I think maybe NASCAR wanted to do this, and Keelan and Kevin were open to it, so they probably got with iRacing, like, hey, we're gonna, we want to do this, do you mind? And I think for like a one-time thing, I think they would be cool with it. Besides, I don't see why not. But this is really cool because we got a Keelan Harvick, technically Cup, and I put that in asterisks, but Cup car, made. It's an obscure number, 62. You don't really see that, as a number on, race cars, unless you're like the Beard Motorsports, previously with Brendan Gaughan, and then, Noah Gregson's been running it here and there. But also, it's another iRacing car, which makes it unique. And it's Keelan frickin' Harvick. Like, how cool is that? Like this kid can walk into school and be like, I have a diecast made for me. What you got? But anyway, as we are over 2.5 minutes into this video, let's go ahead. Let's get the diecast out of the box, and let's get on with the review. But yeah, it is so cool to see this, and to be quite honest with you, I wouldn't be surprised, as we have the diecast out of the box now, I would not be surprised if this is one of those diecasts, kind of like the more backmarker cars that I've reviewed lately, that will probably end up becoming rare and, hard to find, and a bit expensive to get if you do find it, especially online, because, one, it's a Keelan Harvick car, 2, it's an iRacing car, 3, it's an obscure number, and 4, it's, Keelan's first car made, at all. Not to mention, again, it's just one of those rare things, and it's kind of just obscure in a way. It's hard to put that into words, but I think you understand what I mean, I hope. But anyway, review. First of all, that 62 is low as fuck, and a lot lower than it needs to be. Good grief. Like that's about where it should be. Although I would argue maybe this side's a little bit lower than it needs to be. But that's definitely lower than it needs to be. Just saying. Anyway, you get the front windshield that's a little bit popped out on the right side, and the back mirror is also a bit loose. And you have a paint chip on the O of the Hunt Brothers Pizza logo, which I can't tell if that doesn't look centered or not. It kind of looks like it's not, as I almost lose the car. And the front end's a little bit skewed. But again, it's really awesome to see this car get made. Because this is going to be something that Keelan can kind of look back on, from his younger days as he grows up, and I would assume will end up in NASCAR one day, following in the footsteps of his dad. And he can say that he not only got to participate in an iRacing event with his own dad and a crap ton of other, NASCAR drivers, but he got a diecast made out of it. Like, That's insane. Like, imagine if next offseason, Brexton Busch got to do the same thing as Keelan, and then he gets one made. Like, he has that distinction to him. Like, that's just awesome to me. You know, and I'm glad that, you know, however it came to be, that iRacing allowed it. You know, and also, another thing is, you know, Keelan, you know, he had a hand in the whole, the Gravedigger car that Kevin drove at Nashville last year, which, stay tuned on that, because you might see that coming up, or not might, but, well, you'll see. But anyway, you know, Keelan had a hand in that, which was really awesome, just to see the cross promotion between the, you know, Monster Jam on their YouTube channel and their socials, and NASCAR on their YouTube channel and their socials, with this, and then to have that get ran and get made. Like, it's always been a dream of mine to get to see a NASCAR car sponsored by a Monster Jam team, and I hope that one day, because Camden Murphy, driver of the Bakugan Dragonoid truck, races in the NASCAR Truck Series from time to time, maybe one day we'll get to see him drive a Bakugan Dragonoid NASCAR truck. That would be nice. You know, and I'd like to see other Monster Jam teams, you know, get into NASCAR in that way. Like, imagine if somebody ran a Max D paint scheme, you know, this year. Now, the question is, who would that be? I would honestly pick Kyle Busch. I would honestly pick Kyle Busch to drive a Max D paint scheme. I think that would be pretty cool. But yeah, no, for Keelan to be a part of that, and then this, and I have high hopes for him. I know he's young and all, but I'm excited for, not just for him, but, like, you know, Brexton and a lot of these other kids. I think Boyer's got one. I think Boyer's got his kid, Owen, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. But, you know, you see a lot of these drivers and you see their kids and whatnot, and it's like, you know, the far in the future generations of NASCAR drivers, I think will probably be in pretty good hands. Now, granted, not every NASCAR driver's kid's going to want to get into racing, and I understand that. You know, that's up to them what they want to do. But it is nice to get to see a lot of these guys and their kids, you know, get into racing at such a young age and compete and win and all this other stuff, and learn from their own, you know, fathers and whatnot, or just parents in general who've been doing this for God knows how long, you know. And I think it brings up another thing. Like, look at Kevin Harvick. 2020 was probably his last shot at winning a NASCAR championship, and we all know what happened. Last year, well, him and Stewart-Haas Racing completely fell off, and this year, yes, we're only 2 races in, but he ran practically mid-pack all day at Auto Club. He did finish in the top 10. He did manage that, but he was in the mid-pack for most of that race. Meanwhile, you had Chase Briscoe running up front for a decent portion of the day. Cole Custer ran pretty good, and he also won in it, you know, with an SHR aligned, you know, SS Greenlight car in the Xfinity Series race the day before. Eric Almirola did pretty good for himself, both in qualifying for the 500 and also at Auto Club last week, and I think he did well in the 500 as well. You know, it makes you wonder, does Kevin, like, Almirola is already taking a step back after this year. He's already announced he's retiring. Maybe Harvick announces at some point, hey, you know, I think, you know, I don't have much left. I think it's time for me to step away, focus on, you know, my son, and, you know, help him out with his racing career. I could honestly see that. And it also bang, you know, bright, you know, and then when Kevin does that, when does Kyle Busch retire and focus more with his son Brexton? You know, you got to wonder, you know. But with all that said, this is an amazing car, you know, just to see it made. It's something that Keelan will get to talk about and look back on for a long time, and I'm glad. I'm happy for him. So, with all that said, through all my rambling, please make sure to drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications so you don't miss out on future uploads, and I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.